Hi everyone, this is Dr. Michele Alignay, your family psychologist. Welcome to Coffee Break with Dr. Michele. I'm going to have conversations with you about family life, relationships, and faith, and I hope you join our conversations here at this YouTube channel. Good morning, friends. Welcome to Coffee Break. It's Thursday morning. This is Dr. Michele Alignay. Bumabati sa inyo ng magandang umaga, magandang araw, at magandang Huwebes. So join me for this morning on another discussion on family life and relationships. So kumusta po kayo? We are back to a morning session. How are you this morning? I hope that you are doing well. Can you just share with me how have you been this morning? I hope that you can join me for this session about dependency. Wow! Good morning, Mia dear. Ang aga ng aking dear friend. So, good morning, Cynthia. Tignan natin sinong first three. Oo, maaga ka ngayon. Ako rin maaga. Kahit napuyat ako kagabi, maaga. Good morning, Jen. Good morning, Trixie. Please share this with your family and friends because I believe we have a very interesting topic this morning. Hi, Monica. So, our topic for this morning, it's about dependency. Dependency that happens in relationships. Medyo exciting, but honestly, we have to check kung nandun ba tayo sa isang relasyon that we are being overly dependent on the people we love, our family, our friends. Ipuput aside muna natin yung mga anak natin na maliliit. Kasi pag naman maliit yung bata, preschool, grade school, technically, nagiging dependent naman sila sa magulang. Ang pag-uusapan nating dependency this morning is the dependency or togetherness ng mag-anak, lalo na kung yung anak, we are gearing them to be adults, they are already adolescents, and more importantly, if the family is already, have adult kids and the family is still very much dependent into each other. And another angle is that, are we dependent in our partner? Are we adults dependent in our own parents na matatanda na rin? That is something that we would reflect on. So we hope that our internet connection and everything else would cooperate this morning. So good morning, Rika. Good morning, Ate Maybell. Hi to you and Kuya Sherman in Canada. Hi, Janet. Hi, Lot. Hi, Lizelle. Hi, Tito Efren. And Tita Venus. How are you? I hope you are there good and well in Rhode Island. Okay, so, di ba? Ang dami nating mga friends and family na nanonood. So, let's talk about dependency. This is a topic that is quite hard to discuss. Because, in the Filipino family, dependency is like a natural thing. Kaya mahirap sa pamilyang Pilipino na mag-iba yung pananaw at mag-iba yung ways ng pag-iisip. Kasi we feel na parang, ay, ba't iba siya? Pamilya ba yan? Yan. We are being judged because our families in the Philippines, our Filipino family system are often really fused. Ibig sabihin, masyado talagang magkakadikit. Ganito yung best analogy. I think I wrote this in my book, Family Goals. But I heard a very good psychologist, one of the renowned psychologists in the Philippines, Dr. Honey Karandawn. Sinabi niya sa isang forum, and I like that analogy of the Filipino family, of the family. A family, it's supposed to, the ideal in the Western family, they're like egg yolk. They're like hard-boiled eggs. Yan. I think yung they are in one bowl, the whites are touching, but they're hard. You do not see the core, you do not see the yellow. So they don't really show their inner self to the people around them. So that's the Western family. The Filipino family is, many of us, we're like scrambled eggs. What's the difference between a hard-boiled and a scrambled eggs? Yan. Anong pagkakaiba nun? So, ang scrambled eggs, yung yellow niya, hindi mo nakita. Naghalo-halo na siya dun sa white. Hindi lang dun sa white itself and sa yellow from one egg, but it all mixed up with the rest of the eggs. For example, there are 5 eggs in the pan. The scrambled egg, you do not see the identity of each egg because it's mishmash with everything else. And that is the Filipino family. And what is the ideal structure of a healthy family? The healthy family is ideally the ones that sunny side up. If there are 5 sunny side up eggs in a pan, you see the identity, the whites, di ba? Minsan hinihiwa pa natin. They're just touching, but they're not mixed match. Minsan nag-overlap, pero yung identity ng yellow, it's still intact. Yan. Later, I'll tell you about my personal analogy about the coffee. Okay, so let's talk about dependency. May masama ba na masama bang maging dependent sa relasyon? Normal lang ba na maging dependent? Yes. Honestly, it's very normal for us to be dependent on the people around us. For example, me, until now, pwede bang pabili ng ganito? Pag nagpunta po kayo sa palengke, o kaya naman yung mami ko, anak, ibilan mo nga ako ng ganito. Paki-errand sa akin yan. So, kapatid ko, we share something that we contribute to each other. But, what is wrong is that, no? What is not healthy? Let's make it more make it more applicable. What is not healthy is that when someone gets too dependent on others or someone they love, overly dependent, that to the point that it's no longer healthy, we can no longer see the identity of the person. What I mean by that, being dependent in the relationship doesn't mean that the person have a dependent personality, but in everything that the person do, she needs somebody. Ayan. Parang, remember that song, ang analogy ko dyan is that song, How Do I Live Without You? You know the lyrics? If you analyze the lyrics of that song, that's a perfect example of being in an overly dependent relationship. How do I get through a night without you? If I have to live without you, what kind of life would that be? Ayan. Sige, doktongan nyo pa. Ano pang lyrics? Ang chorus niyan, how do I live without you? I want to know, how do I live without you? How do I ever survive if I can't live without you? Something. But it's so nice. It's so nice. It's a song that we love to sing in karaoke, honestly, because the beat is really catchy. But come to think of it, it's not a healthy way to look into a relationship, because there is nothing wrong with being together. That's what a relationship is for. We are all in relationships because we need somebody. There is nothing wrong with being dependent, but what is not healthy is we lose the self. We lose the I. No longer can you see, sino ba siya dyan? Parang pag tinignan natin, wow, nasan yung itlog? Hindi mo nakita kung ano yung desisyon niya. Do you know of people who are very dependent? Pag tinanong mo, kaninong desisyon yan? Sa'yo, sa asawa mo. Sino talaga may gusto? Ikaw o yung nanay mo? Yan. Doon yung nagiging overly dependent. And let's reflect. So, I adapted these points meaning I tweak it. I use my own points, but I read through the points of Gregory Johns in his article in Psychology Today that says 9 things overly people do. He said that the dependent person has spent time and energy trying to hold on to relationship that constantly threaten to slip away. Ayan. The dependent person has spent time and energy trying to hold on to relationship but that constantly threaten to slip away. Ito yung may mga tao na nagmamakaawa. Honestly, ito yung hindi healthy. If you no longer know how to live without somebody, that the relationship has become very dysfunctional, and then you become too dependent on the relationship that you feel that you are nothing, and you feel that your sense of worth is just dependent on that relationship. And what is not healthy, kung meron ng abuse, kung meron ng hindi maganda, kung nawawala na yung pagkatao mo at kung sino ka dun sa relasyon, you don't have a voice anymore, you don't have your own decision, your emotions are even cluttered by the people you love, and you feel that everything that they are, it's about you, then it might not be healthy, and if the relationship threatens to move out, or the person threatens to move out, ito yung magmamakaawa tayo to stay in the relationship because we cannot imagine a life with a person. You know, this does not apply only to marriage. It applies honestly to many parent-child relationship, especially for parents na pakiramdam nila, kailangan nilang constantly tumulong sa anak nila kasi kailangan, kasi nakakaawa yung anak nila. But in reality, our kids are already, some kids are no longer kids. They're already adults. And that becomes a bigger problem. So, many times, minsan sa magkakapatid, minsan kung sino yung meron resources, and he or she feels na kailangan kong tumulong ako lang yung inaasahan So, the question there is that, kanina ba yung pagtulong? Yes, it's for the other person. But why is it that you keep helping to the point of making the other person making the other people in your family dependent on you? Walang masama sa pagtulong. Walang masama if we depend on other people. But let's quantify it. What is not healthy is that we keep repeating a pattern of helping, of making people dependent on us to the point that we are not helping the people around us to become independent. We are disabling their ability to stand on their own. Are you with me? What is not appropriate with being dependent is that we are disabling the ability of other people to stand on their own. Parang sinasabi, yung favorite quote ko for kids, do not do for a child what the child can do for themselves. Yun. Ganun din, kahit na matanda na yung anak mo, ultimo sa asawa mo, do not do for your husband what your husband can do for themselves. Minsan parang, meron akong mga narinig nung bago kaming kasal na, dapat daw, who among you can give me an example that nakita nyo, na-observe nyo of being dependent in a relationship? Anybody here who you just have a comment on this? Meron ba? You and your part don't appreciate you. But can you give me a solid example? Na-observe nyo with okay, yung continuously pagpapadala ng pera. Alam nyo yon, yung halimbawa, yung mga kapatid natin abroad, tapos they continuously send money because nakakaawa yung mga kapatid nila, kamag-anakan nila. That's a very noble thing to do. But you have to balance it that are they still working? Yung pinapadalan ko ba ng tulong, tinutulungan yung sarili nila. Yun. Doon tayo nagkakatalo. Kasi kung continuously may nakihinga ng tulong, and then, hihingi mo lang ng tulong yan. Mas masarap kaya na hindi ko nalang tulungan ng sarili ko kasi may tutulong naman. Kaya hindi natatapos ang cycle of dependency because some people, their default is to ask help. And some people, their default is continuously help them. So when they continuously help, and it becomes a pattern of being overly dependent on the other person, that is the unhealthy. So let's look at the overly dependent person. I'll give you 10, actually 10, ang haba, diba? I'll give you 10 areas, sana matapos natin, of what overly dependent people may do. 1, these overly dependent people may be anxious or distressed when alone or by themselves. Anong ibig sabihin? Meron ba kayong kilala na, kung kumain mag-isa, naaawa ako sa sarili ko. Yung overly dependent, anxious or distressed when alone or by themselves, natatakot silang mag-commute mag-isa, natatakot silang kumain mag-isa, natatakot silang lumakad mag-isa. May aasikasuhin, halimbawa may important documents or papers, may kakausapin, kailangan pa nila ng kasama, kailangan nila ng padrino. That's 1. Anxious or distressed when alone or by themselves. B, blame is on them when bad things happen. There are people, they keep blaming themselves when bad things happen. Naku, kung hindi ko to ginawa, siguro hindi nangyari sa anak ko. kung siguro binawalan ko siya. Well, maybe sometimes it's a personal responsibility. But when you blame everything that happens that is bad to you and you take responsibility for it, na in reality, it's not really your fault. You are not in control of it. Hindi kung hindi ko naman siya pinayagan lumabas, hindi mangyayari. But things happen. Sorry, but shit happens. But if you keep blaming it into yourself, the things that even beyond your control, then it might be, you have to check, wait, ako ba yung may kasalanan kung bakit siya? Kaya, baligtarin natin. Kaya, sa relasyon, halimbawa, dysfunctional yung relationship. Pag lagi na lang ang mali nasa isang tao, halimbawa may abuse. And then, sasabihin ng partner na parang, ikaw kasi, kung hindi mo ito ginawa, hindi ako magagalit. So, pero di ba ang nagalit siya, but ikaw yung i-blame. So, everything, you take the blame. Blame is on you when bad things happen. Blame is on you pag may away, pag may issue. You still blame yourself kahit na you are not part of it. But basta you feel that you are part of the equation. So, A is for anxious or distress when alone. B, blame is on them often. C, concern with creating they have a concern with creating personal boundaries. Remember, I talk about boundaries. So, itong mga taon to, talagang hindi nila makita yung personal boundaries nila. They have a concern with saying no. They have a concern on putting limits. They just keep saying yes, keep agreeing kahit na nahihirapan. Ba't nahihirapan ka na? Ba't umoo ka pa? Nakakahiya Ayan. Their concern, kasi pamilya. Their concern is with creating personal boundaries. And sometimes, when you don't create personal boundaries, you feel that you can barge into everyone's life. For example, you are living with a big family. This is a concern because when you're overly dependent on people, you feel that everything that they're in the house, kahit hindi sa'yo, you can use it. You feel na parang, ay, ginamit ko to kasi nandyan lang. But then, that's not yours. That is a concern with creating personal boundaries because you feel you're entitled to everything that may be there because anyway, it's ours. Because you don't know what is yours. So you fail to recognize what is theirs, what is others. You see that point? So you have a concern with creating your personal boundary. Kaya rin ito yung pati yung emosyon pumapasok dito, yung parang, teka lang, emosyon ko ba to o emosyon ng nanay ko? Then it becomes a problem already. It becomes a bigger battle, okay? So, there's another episode that I talk about personal boundaries, right? So, you can just replay that. And number 4, daily decision making is a struggle without advice or assurance. Do you know people like this? Na parang, ano bang gagawin ko ngayon? Mamamalengke ba ako? Ang dami ng COVID cases Nasaan ba yung COVID cases? Nasa area mo ba? Hindi pero nakakatakot. Sa tingin mo, okay ba? Daily decision making is a struggle. Pag hindi, they keep asking for advice. Why? They are crippled. They need somebody to assure them. They need somebody to tell them na okay lang yan. For example, they have masarap ba yung luto ko? Okay ba na iluto ko ito? Yung tatanungin lahat sa'yo. Tatanungin lahat, pwede mo naman madesisyonan. Nakakagigil, diba? Sorry. Daily decision making is a struggle without the advice of assurance of another person. This is really a struggle. I have another D. Difficulty disagree. They engage difficulty disagreeing with others without fear. Natatakot sila na mag-no, natatakot sila paano ba sabihin disagreeing? Natatakot na humindi, natatakot na sabihin na mag-assert, natatakot na sabihin na hindi yan yung nararamdaman ko. Pag sinanong na, okay lang ba to sa'yo? Anong sagot nila? Okay lang ba talaga to? Anong sagot nila? Okay lang. Kahit hindi okay. Yan yung paboritong statement. Okay lang ba? Okay ka lang? Okay lang. We have difficulty disagreeing with others because they are afraid. So these people, they have difficulty disagreeing with others without fear. Lagi na lang silang takot. Hala, paano pag sinabi ko to, magagalit yon. Paano pag sinabi ko, baka sabihin ganito. Pag sinabi ko yan, baka ako yung mapasama. Diyan tayo nagkakatalo, friends. If we are our own person, if we are capable to be confident, to know where we stand on things, and then it will be easy for us to explain our side. And sometimes we don't even have to explain our side. Okay lang ba sa'yo? Hindi yan okay sa akin. Period. Whatever they say, it's what they say. It's not affecting us because that's what you think. But I think of it differently. And that is a critical area to think about. We have difficulty disagreeing with others without fear. Are you here? That's number 5. And 6, F, feel responsible in satisfying the expectation of others. Overly dependent people feel responsible in satisfying the expectations of others. Kasi alam mo naman dito sa amin, dapat laging masarap yung ulam. Makakarinig ka pag hindi masarap yung ulam. Get it? So, they feel responsible in satisfying the expectations of others. This is what we call people pleaser. There are people who just would like to please everyone. We cannot never ever please everyone because how would that be for us? How will that leave us? You have to remember that it's not a responsibility to satisfy the expectation of other people. If this has become, of course we would like to please our family. Of course we love them. We want to support them. We want to show them we love them. But if our life mission has become so dependent on satisfying their expectations, paano kung ang taas? Ito na lang yung classic example. Anak, kailangan mong makapasa dyan sa universidad na yan at kailangan mong magka-honor because hindi ko nagawa yan nung college ako. Yan! Self-fulfilling prophecy. Paano kung you have another dream? It's okay if that's exactly your parents has the same dream as you have. But what if you have a different dream? Same with the kids. Anak, can you take ballet? Because mommy have been wanting to take ballet. But what if your child doesn't want to take ballet? So that becomes a problem. So we feel that responsible is satisfying the expectation of others. It's a sacrifice, yes, but in the end, you're not really fulfilling the mission that you have for yourself. So if our lives is becoming about others, but not knowing ourselves, that's crucial. Iba po yung we are full on ourselves and we overflow in others. Yun yung proper way of love. But pag yung responsibility natin is just to, keep satisfying them. Pero tayo butas. Tayo hindi natin alam kung anong gusto mo. Yung pag tinanong mo, anong gusto mo para sa sarili mo? Para pasayahin yung pamilya ko. Pero para sa'yo, anong gusto mo? Okay na ako, makita ko lang silang masaya. Sometimes it becomes critical. You know why? Wanna know why? Why it becomes critical when we keep satisfying other people? What if the other people we love honestly are no longer there? What will be our source of happiness? What if the other people that we keep loving, serving, and satisfying has become indifferent, has gone away from us? What if the people that we love, they don't want that kind of life that we want for them? And say, okay, I'm out of here. I'll get out of the house. So what will that make us? Where will that leave us? So you have to always put the self, the core of the self in the equation. So another one, overly dependent people always get validation and approval most of the time. Okay ba tong suot ko? Okay ba yung makeup ko, friends? Okay ba tong coffee break ko? Nag-enjoy ba kayo? Okay ba yung makeup ko? Okay ba yung suot ko? Okay ba yung sinabi ko? Naku, mali yata. Naku, hindi yata masarap yung ulam. Yung in anything, the validation and the approval of people, they are actually bonus. But if you know of people na lagi na lang, kung, for example, she said, si Vanya. Nakita ko si Vanya. Vanya, you're here, right? Nakita ko si Vanya. For example, you keep validating whatever you have on other people. Bilang mo sa 10 mong kinanta sa worship, sa Kirigma Conference, tatanungin mo lahat ng taong kakilala mo kung okay ba yung pagkakakanta mo. Yung intro, yung extra, yung chorus. How would that be? That's gonna be crazy. We cannot get all the validation and approval because we first need to give it to ourselves. It's not conceited, but it's a healthy approving that what we've done our best. We've done our part. That's good enough. And I believe it's not the people. We get so fixated in pleasing people, we forgot that the only one we're supposed to be pleasing is God. Kasi siya naman yung nagbigay ng talento eh. Ginamit mo ba ng maayos? Ginamit mo ba ng maganda? Ginamit mo ba para sa kapakanan ng iba? Yes. Okay. Another thing. So this is the 8th part. Have a strong need, a dependent person have a strong need for others to take responsibility for major areas of their lives. Okay. Do you have friends like this? Girl, overnight tayo. Mag-hotel tayo. Hindi ako papayagan ng asawa ko eh. Okay. Halika, mag-take tayo ng ganong class. 3 days daw yung class na yan. Sige, tatanungin ko muna sa asawa ko kasi baka hindi siya pumayag. Minsan naman, ay kasi hindi yan, ayaw ng mami ko yan. Hindi pwede sa bahay namin yan. That's exhausting. Correct, Vanya? That's exhausting. You have a strong need for others to take responsibility for major areas of your life. Would you like to go into an exercise routine? Gusto mo mag-yoga? Ako nag-yoga. Would you like to try it? I'll check with my husband. I'll check with my mom if okay sa kanya. Kasi narinig ko, parang, wow, there are some people, it's just so hard to deal with them. Because everything that they are, it has to be dependent on what other people in the major area of their lives is that controlled by another person. But isn't it that we are supposed to be in control of the major areas of our lives? Tayo yung dapat nakakaalam nun. We give them due respect by informing them, yes, I will take my masters, I would like to pursue this, pero with especially our own decisions on how we're going to direct things, hindi na sila yung dapat na naggagawa nun for us because we have a responsibility for ourselves. But if you have the strong need to feel and you feel that another person is responsible for yourself, lahat ipapa-approve mo pa. Lahat kailangan mong itanong, and then this might be a sign of codependency. Hindi mo naman, I'm not saying wives, I'm not saying that you don't submit to husband, but if the husband is already getting away that you, sinasagasaan na yung dapat na desisyon na ginagawa mo para sa sarili mo, kasi yung mismong bagay na importante sa'yo, they're impeding you, they're stopping you, and it's no longer healthy for you, then we create a bigger problem. That's a bigger problem of codependency. And 9, insecure with initiating projects on doing things on their own. Yung ayaw mo magsimula ng isang bagay. For example, ayoko maghalaman, ayoko mag-vegetable garden kasi I just might not be good because I think I have a black thumb or sabi nila mainit daw yung kamay ko. Ayoko mag-aral kasi hindi yan para sa akin. And what if you do this for your family? No, it's not my thing. Because you feel that you still need the approval of some people. So everything, because you feel that somebody has a responsibility towards you, you get insecure with initiating projects or doing things on your own. You no longer initiate. You no longer be yourself on this. And number 10, justify your misgiving and justifies others' mistakes in the name of love and service. You know, when you're codependent or when you're so dependent on someone, pati yung mali nila gusto mong pagtakpan. Is that healthy, friends? It's not healthy. Mali na nga, wag mo nang itama, wag ka nang maging PRO sa mata ng iba because it's really so bad. It's really like that. So, I am sharing with you this not because I would like to pin down people here, but I'm sharing you this concepts on being dependent because I would like you to reflect, are you in an overly dependent relationship? I would say again, it's not wrong to to be overly dependent, but what is wrong is if it's not wrong if we are dependent, if we it's not wrong to be together, it's not wrong to show love and affection, but what is wrong if we do not no longer know who we are as a person, because everything about us, it's about the other person, everything that we are, it's about our family. My favorite analogy of how would we know if we are overly dependent, my favorite analogy, if I introduced it with an egg. Now, I'll let you go through coffee. Yun ang favorite analogy ko with where we should be in the relationship. Friends, sinong gumawa? Saan galing ang kape? I don't know kung natanong ko na to sa inyo. Saan galing yung kape? Yung ginagawang coffee. Saan galing yon? And who made coffee? It's not me who made my coffee. But where is the raw materials for coffee? What's the raw materials for coffee? Anybody? Oh my God, Ma'am Net, talagang nag-notes ka. Diba? The person, the farmers. Yes, pero diba tanim yan? Yeng tanim yan. Ang tanim dyan, nakakita na ba kayo ng coffee beans before? May si Tita Rosie, tita namin sa Tagaytay, meron siyang coffee trees in her property. Coffee beans. Yung beans, tanim yan. So, in short, yung beans, hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na inimbento yan. It's not man-made, but it's God-made because it's a plant, right? So, it's naturally made. Paano lumalabas yung sarap ng kape? Ayan, I have that favorite question. Paano lumalabas? Do you know the process of having coffee, right? You would get it from the tree. Magbubunga yung puno. You will get it from the tree. Ibibilad yan ng farmers. Pag nabilad na yan ng farmers, what they're going to do with this is, pupunta naman yan sa roasters. Pag nandun na yan sa roasters, saka yan i-roast, papainitin. At pag na-iminit na yan, in the process of roasting, hindi ba lumalabas yung sarap? Hindi ba lumalabas yung oil ng kape? Yan na roast na yan yung ilalagay natin sa grinder. Yung grinder, siya yung ilalagay mo. Either you're using a coffee maker, or for us, we use what we call the coffee press, or another one that we use here in the house is the mocha pot. I saw Cheska here. Cheska, are you still there? Your husband makes one of the best coffee in town, literally. And when you have this coffee that you put in the machine, lalabas yung lasa. Pero remember, yung lasang yan, hindi yan inimbento ng farmers. The characteristic of the beans is a special trait of the beans itself. Kaya, looking at it, may beans yung galing Batangas, ibang-iba yung lasa. My favorite beans is Batangas brew. I also love, I'm taking what do you call this? Benguet brew. Friends, if you are a coffee connoisseur, if you go to this, I love Starbucks. I don't go for Frap. Bakit? Kasi yung Frap, meron siyang base na coffee. Pero, di ba it's mixed already? Anong nangyari? Hinalo-halo na yung lasa ng kape sa whipped cream, sa syrup, sa water, and sa ice. Hinalo-halo na sila, and everything, they were concocted there in the blender. So, no more identity yung coffee. Pero alam nyo ba yung best way to get coffee? The best way to take coffee is, ewan ko kung nakikita nyo, paubos na, di ba? Kasi patapos na tayo eh. It's the black coffee. Yung galing Benguet, galing Sagada. Minsan I have espresso beans. And in Starbucks, my favorite is Verona or Guatemala. Sarap. And personally, I take it without sugar. Sometimes I do take it with cocoa sugar and with soya milk, like right now. But what's my point? Yung sarap ng kape, hindi po yan nakadepend dun sa creamer, dun sa sugar, dun sa ice that was put. If you are like blended coffee and a frappuccino, that coffee, it's mix match na. You no longer know the real essence and the taste of the coffee because you're overly dependent on other add-ons that will make you yummy. Hindi ka na malalasahan. Wala nang identity. In science, you call it homogeneous. Pero yung coffee beans, when you take it brewed, when you take it pressed, or you take it in an espresso machines or via mocha pot, yung lumabas na kape, yung kapeng lumabas dyan, yan yung puro. At kahit na hindi mo haluan ng coffee, ng sugar or creamer, masarap pa rin, hindi instant. May identity yung kape. I like it taking the coffee via press. Yung mga nakakaintindi nito. Pag pressed yung coffee, pati yung oil at pati yung parang sugary or powdery feel ng kape na pupunta dyan sa kape mo. Yun yung gusto kong karakteristik. Lalong-lalo na yung mga local beans natin. Masarap yung local beans natin if you just know how to appreciate. Kaya lang po, ang nangyari, naging overly dependent tayo with the add-ons. Akala natin yung sarap ng kape, it's nandun sa add-ons. Yan yung relasyon natin. Add-ons lang yan. Ang totoong kape, ang totoong identity natin is like the beans. Purest form, binilad at hinasa ng panahon to be the best coffee bean that a coffee roaster can make. We are like that because the Lord has already made us good. The Lord has already made us full. The Lord has already called us His beloved. And when we take that coffee, kahit nawala yung relasyon, still good. Pag nilagyan ng coffee and creamer, nandun pa rin yung lasa ng kape. Hindi nawala, pero it's still good. At hindi dependent dun sa lasa ng add-ons. Nasaan ka, friends? Are you a frappuccino or are you a brewed pure coffee? May nagsabi dito, Vietnam coffee beans are also good. Yes. So, nasan ka? If you would say that your life, ito lang yung thumb mark natin. How can you help yourself or how can you help other person? Pag-usapan natin yan in another episode, but look at it this way. If you are in the middle of a dependent relationship, you have to remember this. You have to be your own person. Nasaan ka sa equation? Where are you in your coffee? What kind of coffee are you? Pag hindi mo nakita yung identity mo, yung sarili mong lasa, yung sarili mong powdery feel, at wala ng identity kasi nakahalo ka na sa creamer, homogeneous ka na, you're supposed to be heterogeneous, na kahit na dagdagan ka ng konting, for like the brewed, dagdagan ka ng konting milk at konting sugar, nandun pa rin yung lasa mo at hindi nawawala. That is very, very critical. Friends, when you relate to your family members, always remember, am I helping him or her be his own person? Pag ginawa ko to, yes, tinulungan ko siya ngayon, pero long term, makakatulong ba ako? Pag ginawa ko to, madidevelop ba yung kanyang independence or lalo siyang magiging dependent sa akin? Always, always check that. Because our goal here is to become the best version of ourselves. And our goal in relationship is be our own person. So, masarap na kape, yun na tayo. We're uniquely us. Ria, God created each and every one of us uniquely. Yes, we are uniquely our own coffee. We are uniquely our own person. If the time comes that we have relationships, our kids, our husbands, our loved ones, our big family, our family members, friends, add-ons sila. Pwedeng meron, pwedeng wala. Pero kung ang buhay natin, it's about the add-ons, then it's going to be crazy. That's dependency. But we should be independent enough to know that we should be yummy on our own coffee. That's what dependency is. O, di ba? Swak sa coffee break. Hindi pa yata ako nag-prepare. I just prepared this morning, friends. So, please bear with me. I hope you learned something today because today is Thursday and I'll see you again next Tuesday. And I would like to I would like to share with you that if you would be interested to get a copy of my book, Family Goals and the Beauty of 40, Embracing the Gift of Midlife, it's available at a link posted here at Michele Alignay page. So it's, I think it's a bit.ly double backslash Doc Michele. So it will go let you go through that Kerygma Facebook's page. So you can purchase it through Facebooks. You can use my link. So alam nila na si Dr. Michele ang nag-refer sa bumili ng kanyang ebook, because those books, it has contents regarding the I and the we and togetherness in our family. And friends, if you would be interested, I'm running my digital family session next week. That's about digital learning. How can we set up and help our digital learners? It's the last session of my exclusive webinar, so please take time to register. That's the last session that I'll run, and soon, abangan nyo po, at the end of the month, we'll launch my program this coming September. This is the 4th year that I'll do Martha's Pause. This is going to be the online edition. It's for us women. A dose of self-worth, self-love, and self-care. So, abangan nyo po yan, friends, and I hope that you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed talking to you this morning about dependency. Diba? This is a secret, friends, ha? Pero maraming ayaw tanggapin na nandito sila sa relasyon. And as I always tell you, please, be your own coffee, be your own person. Your relationship should complement and never complete us, because we are complete in ourselves and we are already complete in the Lord. May you be blessed as you be the best in your family life, in your work, and in relationship.